Jeremy, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Morning, Dennis. I got a couple of wild children that you might hear in the background, but it's been one of those mornings. But otherwise, it's great. Weather's starting to get better. I think they're itching to get outside, and everybody's kind of getting done with the cabin fever.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I have three girls.
Nice. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have
All two
even
years
two and
apart,
two.
so
So yeah,
yeah, they're all 2 years apart. So I'm gonna be in for fun teenage years.
yeah.
Morning, everyone. How's everyone doing this morning?
Morning, morning. I
Morning,
am
Doing
Andrew.
the
good.
newbie.
Perfect. So, do we have any upcoming listings anybody wants to talk about? Any hurdles or any buyer needs that anybody wants to talk about?
I have an upcoming listing in Brooklyn Park off of 252 and West River Road. A nice, kind of about a 30-year-old neighborhood. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I'm gonna go live May 16th, 19th, May 19th. And I'm thinking about 350. So it's a good starter home.
Oh yeah.
Been updated and really nice backyard. It's going to show real well if this weather continues.
Yeah.
Anybody interested in a 350 range, I'll have it listed here in shortly. I hope it goes fast.
Yeah, I think that area it should go fast. I know last year I had buyers looking in that area and then they finally found their place last year after I think because they wanted me to count it up and I think we looked at like 32 different homes and we put in 7 different offers
Oh
before
boy.
we finally got one accepted.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot of
Yeah.
work. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good neighborhood. There's lots of kids, still, and it's a Noka Hennepin district. So
Nice.
hoping it's good, hoping it'll go fast. So
Yeah. That sounds like a great area.
yeah, thanks.
Anyone else have any upcoming listings or any buyer needs or any issues with like Sweet Assist or anything, any of the programs or anything? Okay,
Just
so
just kind of curious. Do we have like the past two meetings we kind of had like a curriculum we were kind of going over a little bit to fill some of the space and stuff. Do we got something on this one?
yep. So Spar sent out some broker slides that I was gonna pull up here. It's just opening here. Looks like they're having a few events coming up here. Let me get my screen shared here. Right here. So yeah, it looks like on Friday, May 19th, they are having an ice cream party. Spar is throwing an ice cream party. So it looks like they are still looking for some utensils yet needed for that. So it looks like it's just a come show up and look at Spar, and that's from 1 to 4 on May 19th. Otherwise, it does look like there is a volunteer event on June 3rd from 9 to 12. They're going to be at Frogtown Park and Farm in St. Paul. They're going to be planting, I think they were planting flowers and mulching the park there. And so this is a good thing to bring your kids to. It looks like it's kind of a family friendly situation there. I know some of everybody isn't close to St. Paul, so I'm not sure what the other associations are putting on, but we're typically mostly SPAR, so we're able to kind of look at these and go from there. It looks like there is an ethics CE. So if you still need your ethics CE, there is the 4 hours approved class on June 29th. So that'll be just in time, right before that cutoff there. So if you still need ethics, it looks like that one you can sign up through SPAR. We can also send this broker slides out because it has the links and everything, so you can either learn more or register here. So Jeremy will send that out after the meeting here. Otherwise, they have their weekly updates. And if you're not receiving the weekly newsletters, those have a lot of good events that are coming up and also a lot of their classes that they're holding. So if you are still looking for CE, SPAR is a good way. Some of them are free, some of them are reduced rate for being a SPAR member. I would just be able to check those out. And if something interests you, pop on. And a lot of them are kind of hybrid. There's some that are in person, some that are online. So just make sure you're reading the descriptions in there and finding one that works for you.
Jamie, couple questions.
Yeah.
So you talked about the newsletters, the SPAR newsletter. How do I
Yep.
get them?
That would be through SPAR directly. So if you're having troubles with the newsletter or if you're not receiving them, I would contact SPAR's office. They're super nice there and they're always willing to help. And then just say, hey, I'm not receiving my newsletter. Is there something going on? I know mine were going to spam for a little bit. Let me just try to pull one up here. I know mine were going to spam for a little bit, so that was one of the issues, but sometimes so yeah, it'll just be St. Paul Area Association of Realtors, and let me share my screen here. So this is their May 1st one. So this is kind of what it looks like. E-News. It'll just say E-News for May 1st. So looks like they have some stuff going on in the down payment assistance fund. It goes over what's going to be in this issue of the newsletter. The charitable foundation, foundation grants. They're looking for directors on the committee. Looks like they're doing another 200 plus meal packs. It looks like that one's held by Coldwell Banker. Looks like they put that on the 20th of April there. It looks like if you're going to school, they are giving out scholarships, so that's kind of nice. That's been extended to May 12th. I don't know if you're doing any extra continuing education or not. It's advertising their ice cream party. It looks like there's a new CE provider. And then it's got the housing market statistics. So it's got your local market updates, the weekly market activity report. So, I mean, there's always a lot of good information in here. Some of it you may not be interested in and just kind of keep scrolling through. Otherwise, it's letting you know that they also have their Facebook page and it's also introducing the newest members in March.
Thank you. I'll go look on my spam and then contact them if I'm
Sometimes
not
it goes to spam. I know I had to add them as a safe sender. Sometimes you need to just add them as a safe sender and then that way they come right into your email.
SPAR has multiple locations, right? Where is the ice cream party at? Is it St. Paul location?
The ice cream party is So I'm pretty sure they only have the one location because there's different associations. So there's SPAR, there's MAR. Dennis helped me with there's one up in St. Cloud. I'm not part of that one, so I don't know exactly which one that one is.
Yeah, that one's called SCAR.
Okay. But yeah, if you go on to the SPAR website, I just pulled it up here. So it'll have your anything that you need, when you're going to be, your COE deadline. If you're an association member of two different associations, it'll have your regular membership and then your MLS membership. The nice thing is it has all these upcoming events as well. So it has a 7.5 hour CE class at the St. Paul office. So the St. Paul office, that's what I was trying to look for, directions. So, oh, I guess they do have the two locations. So they have Maplewood and Coon Rapids. It didn't really say where their ice cream event was. Let me see here. News.
Amy,
Yeah.
they do say where it is, and then that general announcement for it, the one that you can send to other people, all of that information is in there.
Okay.
And you're absolutely right when you say that SPAR people are absolutely fantastic, and the classes they hold in the rooms they have are really comfortable. So if you ever get a chance to go to any of them, you would find it worthwhile. And I can't say enough, whatever association you belong to, do try to be a volunteer and also try to join a committee. One of the most fascinating committees I was ever on, and you'll probably laugh at this, was the Forums Committee. And one of the reasons that it was so fascinating is that we always get the updates on the forums and that kind of thing, but we don't get any of the discussion behind the scenes, particularly, and to know how that change came about. So, for example, because I do some work with property that is mainly rental or is investment, maybe fourplexes and more. And a lot of those are transactions are different because of the kind of financing that there is. And going behind the scenes and finding out exactly how those forms came about and how they've evolved over the years really, really makes sense. And I just can't tell you enough that just becoming aware of other agents and people from different organizations within our associations are really valuable things for us.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like there is a few committees. So there's the affiliate committee, the board of directors, the committee for diversity, equity, and inclusion, communications committee, community engagement, facilities work group, government affairs, Metro Young Professionals Network. So it does sound like there's quite a few nice ones to join there. And it looks like, yeah, they're open for joining. A lot of them are open for joining and open for nomination. So that's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, if you belong to both associations, as I do, there are opportunities on both, and it just depends on what your interests are. But certainly get involved. It's worthwhile. I've always been part of that and have done a lot of volunteer work through the associations, and they're usually really good causes, and the organization to get people to man certain things is really well done as well.
Very nice, very nice. And then we do have Francis coming to town the week of May 14th. So we are trying to get a picnic together. We were trying to get one at Minnehaha Falls, because that's a nice central location, although they have a huge race on Saturday morning. So trying to reserve a picnic site has been proving to be difficult. So it's looking like we're gonna need to do the first come first serve picnic sites. So I am going to be looking for volunteers to come. I'm going to get there and try to reserve a space, but so I'm not stuck there all day. We are looking for volunteers to maybe come and help us reserve some tables. So reach out to me if you'd like to help out with that. Otherwise, we're thinking about doing like kind of a barbecue potluck type situation, and that way it's a family friendly event and you can go visit the falls. There's parks, I think they're even going to have a band there that day, I think, just because of the race and everything. So should be a good time. Otherwise, we are looking into possibly having it on Friday, because they are open for Friday. So how about we kind of get a little, would people rather have like a Friday afternoon event or a Saturday event?
Actually, I think that if you try to combine that with the race, it would be really terrible. They block off a lot of streets. The parking is so congested, and parking is not a big plus at that particular venue anyway. You might really want to rethink that venue. If you're doing it on a weekend when there's something like that going on, it just becomes extremely congested. And especially because that particular area has other things that interfere as well. It is right by the 46th bridge. It just between Minneapolis and St. Paul. So of course that renders it very convenient. But on a day when we already have probably closed roads, barriers up on access roads and things like that, I think you might want to really rethink that. If you call the committee that is putting on the race itself, you would get some kind of an idea of what you're talking about. Now, it might not be exactly like the complete marathon, the Minneapolis Marathon that goes on every year, but it's going to be pretty close because even when they have other races like bicycle races and things like that in that area, it's very, very congested. I used to live there right on 50th Street, and I wouldn't recommend trying to piggyback on that.
Okay, yeah, because we were thinking about doing it later
It
that afternoon because they
it
are
it
done
isn't
about
about
one.
it isn't about the tables, it's about the congestion. And sometimes they don't get the barricades removed as quickly as you might think. And there are a lot of cars, police cars, safety cars, things like that. And if you just find that you might really have a problem, you just might want to think about that. I would call the race committee themselves and get a very good view of their logistics before you try to send anybody over there to sit on tables, for instance.
hmm Yeah, I will. That's a good point. I'll run that by Randy
And
and we'll kind of go from there.
a place that I might suggest, I don't know if you've ever been there, but the at Glenwood Park, the one where we off of 12 and 494 and basically the parkway there by Glenwood, it's that has a really nice pavilion. It's really big and it's got plenty of indoor space. And that one is not likely to be overcrowded on either a Saturday or whatever day you might choose. You could just check that with the park and recreations people.
And that one's looks like right off of Van White Memorial Boulevard in Minneapolis.
Actually, it's just north of 394, and it's easy to get off there. You can either go in from Penn and 394, or you can go down a little bit farther and get on that parkway. And then that will take you up right to the entrance of it. And it's right on actually the entrance to that park area is right by the beach and the boat
Oh,
dock at Glenwood on Glenwood Avenue.
okay, yeah, we'll have to check that out and see. I
And
think that's part of
there are
the mini.
some, yeah, yeah, there are some others that might be good too, which would get you away from the congestion of those races.
Yep. Yeah, that is a good point because yeah, they're all quick to set up, but not so quick to tear down. So probably even still when we're trying to do our dinner, they'd still kind of be cleaning up, and then we'd have to be dealing with that. So that is a good point. I will talk that over with Randy. Anyone else have any needs? I'm working on getting an in-person 1031 exchange class with someone. Someone just reached out to me about that, and then we are putting in the works for the other classes. So trying to get things put together here. Hopefully we'll start having some in-person meetings. Otherwise, how does everybody think these weekly huddles are going?
Amy, I'd like to point out something. When you go to the NRG site, it actually says they're on Wednesday. And yet they notice you set it out as Tuesday. And I wonder if there's some time confusion there. You might want to check that. And then the other thing that I was thinking about is I don't want to be monopolizing here, but I wondered if people are having open houses and if they had done it, did they have any attendance? Because I had an open house and I made it long enough. I had an incentive. I had a drawing for a gas card, and it was absolutely. It was midnight at the Skunk Works. There was no one there.
Is that on your, I think it's their prior lake listing?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you note a hint of desperation? I've emailed thousands, literally thousands of emails on this property, and I've publicized it, I promoted it, I've taken flyers to local businesses. It just isn't getting any kind of interest at all. I don't know if Randy's on here, but Randy and I were talking about a week and a half ago, and he said he thinks it's just quirky. And I guess he said that because people don't understand about the elevator, all that sort of thing. And the people whose home it was bought it probably primarily for the elevator. They were sick of 3 flights of stairs in their Minneapolis home, moved to Prior Lake in retirement, and with the idea that they would have the elevator to bring things up to the main living area. They would have the elevator so they didn't have to take the steps. And as they became older, they would be able to use that. Well, they did indeed become older because he died at almost 101 and she died at almost 100. And they did have a long and happy life, not having to climb up and down stairs. So I keep thinking there's somebody out there who has that kind of situation, but I don't think that people in even active retirement are looking to move out in quite that direction. It's just a little bit too far away from things people are used to. But I keep thinking of how to overcome it. If anybody has any ideas, I am open to ideas.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look here. It's a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. Yeah, it really doesn't look. I think it must be that quirky, like as Randy said. Just with I don't think people understand the elevator there, and then possibly that it's the 2 bedrooms, because I know a lot of my buyers are looking for 3+. Is
Okay,
there?
well, that one room, it is set up, it doesn't have a door on it, but it's set up like a main level family room.
Okay.
And it's really large and it would make a lovely bedroom. And it's right across from the main bathroom. And of course, the master is large and has an ensuite kind of thing. So it's got a lot of versatility. Plus, it has another room on the lowest level that's an egress windowed room that's big and can also be used as another bedroom. So the opportunity or the utilization is really good. It'd be great for a multi-generational family or for someone who still had older kids who were at home at least part-time because they'd have a lot of space and a lot of privacy.
Yeah, I would maybe say something about those two rooms in your description as well, saying easily adaptable to growing families or families who need that little extra space or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I know that's a big thing with a lot of iBuyers. They won't even look at 2 bedrooms just because unless you're in that age group, most people are gonna need at least 3 bedrooms, because they'll need one for a lot of I've seen a lot of people have like at least 2 to 3 kids. So having at least 3 bedrooms, I know is a big thing. Plus, even with that multi-generational gap, they're still gonna want kind of their own space. So I would maybe kind of start mentioning something about that the space is adaptable and that may get a few more, because I see you have perfect for multi-generational family, but when they look at it, they'll be like 2 bedrooms, like, well, that's not gonna work. So then they might go on to the next. But if you
Yeah,
mention something about
I guess you know the rules, of course, about calling something a third bedroom are kind of you know I guess I'd be okay saying versatile
yep,
space or adaptable space,
yep.
but you know that would be, yeah, if someone could see beyond
How
the
long
in
has that one been a bedroom in the past? Is it grandfathered in potentially for a rule there? You might be able to check with the
no.
city on that. Okay,
No,
I
there's
just thought
no
I'd ask.
grandfather. This place that was built in after 2000, it's not an old place. And
Gotcha.
it's
Sorry.
and it's I don't know if you're familiar with Wensman as a builder, but Wensman built all over the place. And he himself, maybe Randy's description as quirky is kind of interesting because Winsman developed a whole lot of Burnsville, Apple Valley, and then he branched south into the Lakeville area and over, of course, into this one. And he is an absolutely top quality builder. He just builds beautiful space, but he makes everything unique. He likes the challenge, I think, of uniqueness, which when it's your first, you know, you're the first owner, you're kind of charmed by that. But people who come later may not find that quite as cookie cutter enough for them. Um, Wensman had a couple of really beautiful developments in Apple Valley. Some people may be familiar with them. They were in the Diamond Head, they were called, and think they had diamond in their names. And they had every unit had its own unique feature. There was one where Wensman himself built himself a home, and I think I've sold 5 or 6 of those in the not all that distant past, and they were each one was totally different in one or two certain ways. It was really interesting, and they then I lived in one in a Wensman development myself in Apple Valley. Gorgeous woodwork, beautifully done, wonderful architectural detail, beautiful siding, and again, all the things that people really wanted to have. It was built that was built about 10 years earlier than this particular one in um, out down there in Prior Lake. But there are so many things. I was really enthusiastic about having an opportunity to sell this, and it's been really disappointing when I can't really get people excited about it. Of course, weather, financing, our whole economic sense where people are just kind of holding their breath, wondering what's going to happen next, has certainly influenced the market. So we've had a very trying winter as well with the snows and cold. But if anybody has any ideas or wants to take a look, and when I sent out I tried to do a virtual open house and have a drawing for a gas card, and I did get a few people. And I've got, I think, 4 people on that I got on my website who have put a heart on for the favorite that they favorite on their own personal list, but they don't have the real inclination to get moving right now because they just feel uncertain.
Would
So
your
how,
is your seller okay with like a flexible close that I know a lot of buyers are looking for that flexibility because they need to find a house before they can sell their house. So
well,
maybe
it's an estate, it's empty. You could move in there this afternoon.
Mhm.
And it's all been completely refreshed and everything has been gone over to make sure that all work and, you know, and the price per square foot is really down because we reduced the price to $379.
Mhm.
And as I put in the helps, I just put bring all offers, and I did now um indicate that we wanted to have the highest and best offer by May 8th, which would be a week. And so I probably will have to change that if I'm not getting any. But it's just been a real difficult thing. And I know the people that lived there absolutely loved it. And um I don't know. I don't think I need to call an exorcist because I don't think any lingering remnants of their energy is there. But it's it's just been kind of a funny thing that I just can't get I can't whip up any kind of energetic approach to it that anyone buys.
Yeah, another idea might be giving some of the newer agents a shot at doing some open houses. That way you're not having to do the open houses. You can always attend if you wanted to, but that way I know there is a lot of newer agents that are looking for that experience. So maybe putting something on the Facebook page, seeing if anybody wanted to do an open house there in Prior Lake, maybe they could bring their own special touch and whatnot. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, maybe just changing up a little bit of that wording and making it so that not saying that it is an extra bedroom or whatnot, but that it's an adaptable space that they can make their own.
Mm-hmm. Um, you know,
Don't know.
the association there doesn't like open houses, and I kind of did it anyway. So I'm a little bit less likely to put a new agent in the position of having to deal with that. So
Okay.
I'd have to think about that. But if someone wants to call me, or someone that has a lot of contacts in the Prior Lake area, I would certainly entertain some kind of venture.
Okay. Yeah, I know one of the townhomes I sold out in New Hope was similar to that. We could only have open houses from like 10 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yes, yes. Well, you can kind of see why, because it gets congested,
Mhm.
and then the people that live there feel like they're impaired from doing what they want to do.
Mhm.
And so,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know if it would work or not. I'm not that computer, uh, gadgety. You were able to pull up the. Uh, I'm used to saying SCAR, so SPAR newsletter or whatever on here and show it for people and stuff. During COVID, from the office, the brokerage that I used to work with, we used to do like a broker open there more than we did in the past, where we just, whoever was putting it on, the manager or whatever. So this would be kind of your thing, Amy, if you can do it. Pulled up so before the meeting, agents would send the broker then their listing that they wanted to do a broker open on, kind of, and then they'd pull that up and show, so they'd just scroll through it as the agent would be talking, and the agent might say next page or picture, or, whatever type thing. I don't know if that type of thing might work here, just as a, kind of getting started thing to kind of help with this one maybe a little bit, or, other agents might have ideas, I don't know,
Mhm.
just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. And then that kind of adds a
Dennis,
little. Mhm.
yeah, Dennis, I think one thing that's we kind of lost, and of course, COVID certainly made this even worse, but we've lost those old Tuesday morning meetings when everybody brought their um new listings or people that they were working with that were looking for something particularly. we always used to do that, kind of as a matter of the business during one of those agent meetings. And we've lost a lot of that. Now, to try to overcome that, I tried the virtual open. I also did with an incentive. I also sent a lot of stuff around to other people that I know who have sold properties. I did a sweep of all the properties that have been sold in the last year to see which agents had sold them and sent an email message personalized to each of them with that same idea in mind that once they, because when they open up that email, that listing pops up, so then they see it. And I think those things are really good to remember because you're right, Dennis. We've had to make a lot of adaptations, and some of them are good, and some of them are a little clumsy, especially if we're not used to always doing it that way. But I think there are a lot of people that are really pretty much going with the virtual approach, and we can get better at it.
Well
I know
said. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been a lot of people from the large agencies, which I'm really not interested in, have tried to recruit me because I have sent so many emails and I have such a high open rate. And that, of course, when you're sending emails, the other big thing, you have to have a subject line and an opening line and things that get their attention real quickly. So we're all going to learn to be very, very much better at that and just be masters of our own world in that way.
And I don't remember, have you put it on like the Facebook groups? I know when I was having issues with one of my listings, I joined a bunch of the groups in the area. So I know they
Right.
have a bunch of groups, and I actually got a couple sales and viewings off of those.
Yeah, I've done that with Patch and with their local um things down in that area in Scott County. And you're right, that does get a little bit of interest. I have had some conversations with people as a result of that. So yes, you just have to take a deeper dive sometimes and reach into maybe pockets where you wouldn't have even thought to look, and it can be helpful. Um, I've also thought about um, going around and doing something where I just went to places where people congregated, and I have put up a lot of flyers. And I have tried Craigslist, all those things that are on the internet. And while I haven't told it through that, I certainly learned a lot in just going through the process of doing that. And we all can do that. And it can help.
Yeah, I was just looking. There's a few classified, like Prior Lake classified pages. I know I join them, and then if I'm in that area, I'll stay in that area. But there's a lot of groups that help with housing, like for sale.
That's correct. And I do have some of those things out there.
And sometimes you can even link that to, I'm not sure if you have an Instagram or not, but if you're trying to get to that kind of age group, my generation is all about the online and Facebook and Instagram, majority, I should say, because I'm not really, but I go on there because I want to reach that age group. So I know I utilize LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not a Twitter person. I've never been a Twitter person. If anybody knows Twitter, good for you.
I've
But
even
I
tried
like the
Twitter,
photo.
but yeah, I've tried it, Amy. I don't think you're missing anything on that one. But you're right. Instagram is really good. And I just read something the other day that said for people in the age group, uh, basically anybody under 35 um, is more likely to be wanting to text or
Mhm.
Instagram than anything else. So
Yes.
you're right. That is a good way to just put out a feeler.
Yeah, I'm 33, and I grew up with my grandparents, so I kind of have a different outlook than most people my age. But I have a sister that's 6 years younger than me, and I have her phone number, but she will only message me on Facebook. She won't like text me on like the normal phone or call me on the normal phone. She only calls me and messages me through Facebook. And I'm like, this has got to be that generation.
I think you're
There's a
right. I think that's a
possibility.
lot of it.
There's another idea. I've been working it with Randy. We have not coming outside still with it. Still, it's in a developing mode. But another possibility is creating a video of the property instead of pictures and posting it on social media. I have quite a few followers on social media, and I'm using it for my own, business, and it works. And one idea that I have is doing videos for listings for NRG agents. I'll do them. That doesn't matter, and I'll just post it on my social media, and comes with all the information of your listing, Elizabeth, as you are the listing agent. Everything. The only thing I am creating for myself is just traffic. It's just that I don't look for anything else, and probably there's more views than probably I don't know. Uh, uh, one day of people coming into the house, people can be at 6 p.m. any day of the week, and they can just look at the property. If they're interested, they will call you because your number is going to be there. That's something that I'm working out with Randy, and there's something they can think of. If the seller is okay and you're okay, yeah, they can take a day, go there.
Actually,
That would
Max,
work.
I already have that. I already have that. That's how I did the virtual open house. I have all of that on there. I have all my,
So
you
send me
know,
the video. Send me the video. I can post it on my social media. Make sure that if you don't have, if you have everything, just send it to me. I'll just grab it and post it there. That's easy.
hey, well, thank you, Max. I will get on that. I don't think I can
You're
do it
welcome.
today. I got too many things, but I'll do it when I get home.
And it's okay. Whenever you get time.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And there's also there's a couple mortgage lenders that also do that kind of stuff as well. So I would reach out to some of your mortgage lenders and ask if they do.
I've already done that with two. I
Okay.
have two of them. So,
Okay.
yeah. And you're right. That's a really good idea because they're looking for business just as hard as we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way, I use Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And TikTok
Yep.
is the biggest. So
TikTok is very, very popular.
So
I
Kind of
haven't
became the
tried
new
TikTok.
Snapchat.
yeah, TikTok is very good for me. Four deals that I did last year, they all came from TikTok. Random people just contact me, and they want to do business, and we close them. So it's good.
Well, that's good
Yeah.
to know because that's another thing we have to really know more about. I know I use Reels, and that sometimes is pretty helpful.
It's basically the same thing. It's just a different
Yeah,
platform.
it is.
But yeah, I've even gotten some buyers off of just kind of randomly going on and saying, "Hey, I'm showing this house today. Come join me for an open house." And they're like, "Well, we're not interested in that one, but can you help me find da 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 da?" So, I mean, it's definitely a business getter.
Yeah, I think it's hard sometimes, it certainly was for me, to overcome my resistance to being seen on there. And yet, what you're saying is very true. Once you go on and you just get a little bit comfortable with just talking about something, you can do even a 30-second kind of thing and get a very good number of responses. I know you won't necessarily get people calling you, but you will get a lot of looks. And then the more you get, the more that continues to build for you. So, I've gotten some of them up to 500 and things like that, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I know when I was nervous and scared about getting on there, I just had to kind of just jump in feet first because I noticed not being in front of people, my friends would find somebody else to go through, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm a realtor, I told you. Yeah, you told us once. We didn't know you were still a realtor. So that's when it kind of clicked that I need to be in everybody's face that I'm doing this full time all the time, and that I'm their go-to person. So I know even with my close circle, that it has definitely brought up a lot more business as well, where friends that I didn't even realize were watching me are like, hey, we're wanting to buy a house. What do we do? And I'll help them kind of buyer education. Hey, go talk to a lender. And then I got a couple lenders that actually have credit building, because I know a lot of these first time home buyers sometimes need credit building. So I do work with a couple lenders that offer that as a service. So that's always
That's
nice
a
too.
great, yeah, that's a great idea because I think there are a lot of people of all ages now who have been kind of not really on top of it with their credit, and they've had so many wide swings of credit and things like that they don't even realize that there's old stuff hanging out there. So that is a really good idea, and I know I've done a lot of credit repair over the years for people too, and if you know something about that and can work with a lender on that, that is very helpful. It's also kind of an interesting thing. In a way, our social media has made us so public. You know, as you said, you feel like you're out there in everybody's face, and in a way that doesn't feel right to us. And yet, if we're not out there in everybody's face, it's funny how we used to think of people keeping your card maybe, and then if they wanted to do something, they'd shuffle through that. Well, nobody bothers with that anymore. And the whole thing is, it's kind of like, probably as most of you know, most of my work is in psychology, and I've done a lot of preparation of um, lawyers for how to pick a jury. And it's not exactly like Bull, but I laughed when Bull came out because I had been doing that kind of thing over the years. But it's very interesting because part of this is about recency, and people act on what they just last saw, not what they heard about a month ago or 6 months ago or a year ago. And so many people who have been clients of mine have bought another house, and when I've said, they've called me when they got in trouble. One called me because she's afraid she might be foreclosed on, and I of course knew that she had moved because somebody else I know told me. And I said to her, "Oh, I'm surprised you moved and didn't let me know." And she says, "Well, I probably would have used you, but I didn't know where you were." Well, the funny thing about that is I had continued to be on her Facebook, and I had continued to send her information about a whole number of things. It's really not true. But the thing that is true is recency. If they've just seen your smiling face, you've got an edge that you won't have any other way, no matter what kind of lovely Christmas gift you sent them, or Valentine's card, or Mother's Day reminder, or whatever it is. Recency of your face is going to make a lot more impact today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is definitely true. And that's why they see that face, and maybe they are looking that day and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Amy's a realtor. She'll be able to help me," instead of Googling realtor in my area and then just getting some random person.
Yeah, or starting to look with Redfin or Zillow, you know.
Yep.
We want to keep those people out of that Zillow world.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely. But Zillow says my house is worth this.
Yes. And then you want to say, well, good luck with that. But of course we don't. And at any rate, so but that, at least if they say that, that does give you an opening to say, well, how about if I do a quick market analysis for you, and I can get that over to you this afternoon, and then you'll see the other houses, the comparable houses, and what people actually did sell houses like yours for in the past 6 months or something.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think social media is definitely kind of going that way. I'm gonna maybe try to think of something, maybe some sort of presentation to kind of go over social media or look to see if there is anything. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff out there. So maybe trying to find something worthwhile that kind of covers all the bases. Because social media definitely is where I've gotten a lot of my sales and buyers from. And then also obviously some of the leads, but I get the more genuine leads from my social media for sure.
And I do think our personal websites can be helpful in that way too. And again, we can point people to that by social media.
Yep.
And you know, thinking of that, look how fast everything has changed. A couple of years ago, we used to try to get people to allow us to send them what they call the push notifications. And now even that isn't fast enough. That isn't enough to just have someone have your website so that we hope that they would use your resource to start looking for homes when they became interested. Because it is true, I have a bunch of people who do look for homes all the time on my website. But the reality when I contact them or send them a message or give them a call or text them or whatever, they just say, "Oh, just looking." It's kind of like when you go into the store and the clerk comes up and says, "May I help you?" And you say, "Just looking," and there's lots more of just looking because they have so many ways to do it.
Yep. Yeah, everybody wants to be their own agent until they need an agent.
That's it. That's it. And maybe that's a big thing too to make a point of with people is I do that on my website. I say, this is as close as you get. Look like an agent. And I don't know if that makes a difference, but anyway, just the idea that, yeah, that's a good way to be an agent. Just use my portal here and you can look in wherever you want to.
Yeah, that's what I typically do. And then I tell my buyers to just send me anything that they like. I can look further into it. I I'm upfront with them right away. I'm like, I can look for you, but you're gonna be the one that knows you best and what you're looking for. Because I may
Exactly. Exactly.
pick out all the boxes, but you may not like something about it. So if you see something, let's go see it. Let's go see it in person
Mhm.
because pictures can either make or break the listing. I've had many that I've went to go look at that I've looked at the pictures. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a fantastic listing. And then we get there and it's like, oh, that was hiding a lot. Or
Yes.
pictures that are really crappy and we get there and we're like, oh my goodness, the pictures did not do this listing justice.
And I know for most of us, I know I use that VTC for my photograph. And of course, having professional photos really does make a difference. We're in such a competitive world right now. And the idea that you could just, take your cell phone out and kind of roam around, that worked for a while, but the reality is if you want a nice slideshow, you having your VTC people or someone like that make it, or if you're really skilled, make it yourself, but know that people are going to be looking at it in that way. They need to have a certain kind of flow. And I know the first time I started doing that, I bought some software. It was really a long time ago. I'm embarrassed to say it was probably I had to probably buy it on one of those CD type discs and put it in and learn how to use it. But I could actually take the photos that I had made with my digital camera and I could kind of weave them together in a tour that looked pretty seamless. And actually it was really a pretty good tool. So I learned early on that it is true that a picture is really worthwhile and that feeling that they're kind of going from place to place within your listing is also really important.
Yeah, that is definitely very important. A lot of those jumping around ones, you're like, so is this on the first floor or the third floor? What's going on here?
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of you wonder about that because we've been growing up, we always heard that picture is worth 1,000 words. And a lot of times that's true. and yet it depends on what kind of picture. And you can really, as you say, I mean, you can gloss over a lot of things with some pictures, or you can just go around and make people think, oh my gosh, I wouldn't even want to set foot in this place, you know. So it's a kind of an atmosphere thing.
You mind if I go off subject for a little bit?
Yeah,
Of
I was just gonna
course.
say let's kind of, if there was anything last minute here, being we got about 5 minutes left.
So real quick, if anybody can answer any of these questions, I'd appreciate it. It's about apartment buildings. Do you schedule a showing like you would a residential home? Do they, the seller or the agent, let you into each apartment to take a look at them? If the buyer I have was interested in it, do you schedule like a regular home inspector to do the inspection of the apartments? Or is there like do you find a special inspector that's just versed in apartments, and what type of questions should I be prepared for overall?
I can answer that, but I don't want to monopolize. If somebody else wants to answer, they can. You do have to make an appointment, of course. Usually you're allowed to see one unit or a couple of units if there are several different configurations or floor plans. You would want to do an inspection. You ask pretty much the same questions that you always do, and you have get someone who is conversant with rental properties or with investment properties of some sort, or commercial properties, whatever they are. The way that those are set up is sometimes quite different. So you need someone who really knows about different kinds of systems in order to do that adequately. And you would want to make sure that you went to the inspections yourself. And you also would probably have your showings might be set up with the agent present. So they might actually have to come and let you into the property and let you into the specific unit that you could see. And that would be true. Let's say, for instance, you had a fourplex you wanted to show someone. They would probably tell you that the uh, upper north side unit was available, then you could look at that. And then if you had an interest or were going to consider writing an offer, then they would let you see the other units. And you would have the same kind of information that you needed for anything. You want to know how long they've owned the property. You want to know anything that's been done, any permitted kind of activity that's going on there and remodeling, any kind of judgments from the city. And if you're in Minneapolis or St. Paul, you probably have to do some kind of a city code compliance check. So, you know, they're all the same questions. It just digs a little bit more deeply. And if you ever wanted to just talk about it, Dennis, feel free to give me a call and we can just chat about it.
Definitely appreciate that. Thank you very much, Elizabeth.
You're welcome.
Yeah, very, very good information today. So we will see everyone next Tuesday, unless there is anything else that anybody would like to add.
Let me add
Thanks,
one thing.
Nadine.
I'm just going to add one thing. Sorry. I just have like 2 minutes left. So it's about, I guess I sent the reminder for the CEs yesterday. And if you have any questions, if you have any clarification regarding how many CEs you got left, so you just have to email me, and I'll go to Commerce and then see how many you guys have to do, get the information right across. And also, if you need like discounts for your CE, so we have in collaboration with a CE shop. So I'll send over the link to our CE portal. I guess we have like on March the 10th, we'll have the 35% discount, so you guys could take advantage of that. But I'll be sure to send blast email for you to take advantage of it, probably around day before the 10th. So watch out for my email. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Welcome.
Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and we will see everyone next week.
Yeah, thanks again, everyone. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.